In today's video, I want to go over some rules of thumb, some parameters, some kind of general ideas and guidelines of making it super simple to sell cash secured puts and covered calls. A cash secured put and a covered call is when you sell an option, be it a call or a put. And for this, when you sell it, somebody is paying you a premium. If you ever buy an option, you pay to buy an option. Well, instead of you being a player, you are now the house and you are selling those options. For a cash secured put, you are saying you are willing to put up the cash, so you are securing the put with cash to say you're willing to buy shares of a certain stock at a certain price at a certain date. The strike price is that specific price, and what we call that specific price is called the strike price at when you're striking the contract, and the date we call the expiration date. For a covered call, instead of saying I'm willing to buy shares, you are saying you're willing to sell shares. You are covering the call with the shares that you own. In both cases, you have the strike price and you have the expiration date. And in both cases, you are paid a premium. This is your premium to keep instantaneously on the spot, no matter what happens with the contract going forward. For a cash secured put, the opportunity cost or the downside is you're saying you're going to buy XYZ stock at $100. The share price falls to $90. You're still on the hook to buy it for $100. And if you buy it for $100, it's okay. You're not so concerned. You're just going to then sell covered calls against it. And hopefully the price is going to appreciate and you either sell it for the same price you bought it for, or hopefully in the future make even some money and some profit selling it for higher than you sold it for. For a covered call, the downside is you're saying you're willing to sell shares for $100. The share price is now trading at $110 and you lose opportunity cost or you lose that additional value. But that's okay. If you sell your shares, then you're going to initiate a cash secured put saying you are now willing to buy the same shares that you sold. And sometimes it works out in your favor where you actually make more money than not getting assigned. The expiration date is when the contract is over. Anytime that you're in the money, which means if you're doing a cash secured put and the share price is lower than your strike price, you can get assigned at any point, even tomorrow. For a covered call, when you're in the money, that means that your current share price of the stock that you own is below the strike price. It's very, very simple. And for a covered call, if the current share price is above the strike price, then you are in the money. In both these cases, you could manage it. You could buy it out early, you could roll it, you could wheel it. And if you guys want to check out some of those videos, click on the link up above, and then one more link is going to come up above, and then there's going to be one more link up above. Go watch all three of those videos, come back here, and keep paying attention. Whether I am selling cash secured puts or covered calls, I am looking and have a system. I am looking for a certain amount of money that I want to make. Currently, for a cash secured put, I want to sell 4 weeks out. I want to sell it around a 20 delta, and I want to have around a 80% chance in my favor that this does not get assigned. And for this, I would like to collect at least 2% on my money. If that happens, then maybe this is a viable play on this specific stock. For a covered call, I also want to go 4 weeks out. However, I want to go 1 or less delta with a 90+% chance in my favor of non-assignment. The goal when selling covered calls is not the premium. The goal is to have premium alongside share appreciation. However, the premium does not supersede the initial goal, the main objective, which is asset appreciation. The premium collected on a covered call is a cherry on top, icing on the cake, and this is in addition, not in lieu of, share appreciation. For this, I am very not greedy, and oftentimes not even a 1 delta. I will go like a half a delta because the objective is full share appreciation and premium on the side. The premium that I collect off of covered calls, I usually use to buy risky plays, and hopefully I'll get a big return and buying some random stock, which then I don't really care what my cost basis is because it's kind of free money from the covered calls. For a cash secured put, my goal is not to get assigned. I don't want to buy the shares. I often use margin, or as I like to call it, an IOU, for those cash secured puts, which means Robinhood will give me money against my current shares, my current positions, and they give me a collateral. And that collateral is used as an IOU. The difference between an IOU and margin is an IOU, if you're not assigned, you don't have to pay any interest. Therefore, it's not margin. It's literally just a IOU. It's just a collateral for if you get assigned. And because of that, I am very wary. I am very cautious with my strike prices and my deltas, so on and so forth. A lot of people that I speak to, they're like, hey, a lot of people on YouTube say pick a 30 delta, and that's okay. You could pick a 30 delta. You could pick a whatever delta you want. I'm just going over my specific play. I then get a lot of people that say, hey, Adam, when we follow your parameters and your protocol, we're not really getting into trouble. However, when we try 30 delta, we're always underwater in our plays, and it's a lot of management. You guys do what's good for you. And sure, there is deviations, and sure, there are opportunities to make more money. You see, the higher the delta, the more premium you're going to collect for the same play. However, it does not come without risk. The higher the delta, the more risk you take. Hence why on a covered call, I'll do 10 or less delta. And on a cash secured put, I'll do a 20 delta. I want even less risk when I hold the shares because I don't want to give up my shares because I want share appreciation and I want more money. Who doesn't want more money? Again, there's a lot of ways to manage it, but this is the gist of it. If you guys are unfamiliar, take a look at the screen and I'll walk you through an example. For my example, I'm going to be using HIMS. It's an extremely, extremely popular stock. First thing I'm going to do is press trade HIMS. Instead of buy, I'm going to say sell. I'm going to do the cash secured put first. So go to put, and I always go 4 weeks out. You can go 4 to 6 weeks. This is usually the rule of thumb. You could do weeklies as well. Do whatever is good for you. I found that 4 weeks is the happy median between theta decay in your favor and less management, because I don't want this to be a full-time job. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, easy. Automatically, I'm going to go to something that's going to say 80% because I want to have around roughly 80%. If I go to this one, it's going to tell me that the delta is 0.15. That's a little bit low. I would like to go a little bit higher. Let's go to 46. This is giving me right now a 0.18 delta and around 77% chance in my favor. Now, I know that the premiums are going to be really, really juicy. So in this case, I'm okay with doing a 13 or 14 delta with 81% in my favor as long as this number is at least 2%. So let's do the math. To calculate the percentage of premium that you would get for this cash secured put, you would take 100 divided by the strike price, which would be $43 in this specific case, and then times it by the premium collected, which would be 1.51, and you get a number. This is 3.5%. This is a perfect play for me. This is no problem, no issues, without me looking at the technicals, just based on the basics of getting into the play. So if you want, you could even go to 86%. If 86% is actually 0.9 delta, let's see if this makes sense as well. Let's go to 100 divided by 39, and then let's times it by 0.94, 0.94, which is the premium. Even this is a 2.4% play. So there is no right or wrong answer. If I wanted to sell a cash secured put, which is 4 weeks out, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks out, I can go many different plays. I can do a $39 strike and get 2.4% on my money. I could do a $40 strike. I could do a $41 strike. I can do a $42 strike, or I could do a $43 strike, getting all the way up to, I believe it was 3.9%. There is no right or wrong answer. All of these fit the criteria. You're getting 80%. You're going 20 delta or less. In this case, you're getting 81%, and you can go 0.14 delta, 1.4 delta. The only thing to take a look at is I don't like to sell on actual weeks of earnings. So when is the earnings for HIMS? The actual earnings for HIMS is August 4th. We are selling options for August 22nd. So this is good. Any one of these plays would be absolutely good. Sell the put, I would be happy to do a play at 43, 42, 41, 40, even $39. Probably $38 would work too. Either one of these. Let's say I'll pick 40, no problem. I am saying that I am willing to buy shares of HIMS at $40 on or before August 22nd. And for this, I would collect $1.24 per share times 100 shares. So if I wanted to do one contract, I would collect my $1.24 times 100 or $124. And I would have to put up $4,000 of collateral. That's $3,876 plus the $124 premium that I'm collecting. Total would be $4,000. Now, it's very important to understand that if you are in the money, which means on a cash secured put, that the price of HIMS goes below $40 on this specific play, you can get assigned and you would have to buy the shares. Usually, I found that people will not assign you until the last day or two of the expiration, which means I manage on the beginning of that final week, which I spoke about a lot on this channel. I won't talk about this now. Now, let's say I own shares of HIMS. I would do sell, I would do call, I will go the same 4 weeks, except I would no longer be doing anything that says 80, and I would go to either an 80 or 85. Real quick announcement, today at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have a channel live, and at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a channel member live VIP only. I do these weekly. I have a link to both of those down below, and if you want to become a channel member, I have a link to that down below as well. It's the best $10 value you will get on the internet today, in my humble opinion. Just ask the people in the comments what they think about the member-only channel lives. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. $80 strike is a 0.16 delta, 90% in my favor. To be honest, I would probably be picking the highest mark, the highest possible mark on HIMS to sell a call would be an $85 strike. For this, you would collect $1 per share. I'm not concerned about the percent here because the percent is based on not the strike price, but how much money you paid for the shares. If we would like to do the math, I own shares of HIMS for $47. If we wanted to do it based on $47, press sell, call, go to 4 weeks, August 22nd. I would then do the $85 strike, and let's do the math. You take $100 divided by my share price that I bought it for, my average cost, which was $44 if I'm not mistaken, and then you would times it by how much premium you're collecting, which would be $1.07, 1.07. And on my cost basis of $44 a share, I would be collecting 2.43% on this play, which is not bad, but it's based on your cost basis, not on the strike price. And actually, if you times it by 12 and you did this every single month, it will be 30%, not so bad. So that's the basics of how you pick a cash secured put and a covered call, how to actually go through the trade. The next rule of thumb. A lot of people are all over the place with many different shares. A lot of people have been asking me today alone. I had literally 4 people ask me, Adam, how many stocks do you pick? And the answer is I usually pick between 2 and 5 stocks that I sell cash secured puts on. And if you add covered calls, it's a little bit more. The covered calls I'm not concerned about because it's literally the shares that you own, right? You're selling covered calls on shares that you own. I sell covered calls on everything that I own pretty much if there's an available market. For cash secured put, I have 2 to 5 stocks that I rotate. They're not stagnant. I always rotate into something else if the stocks that I'm usually in are no longer viable. For example, at the beginning of the year or the beginning of this channel, I was using SoFi, Nvidia, Robinhood, some type of Bitcoin or MicroStrategy play, and Tesla. I will no longer be selling cash secured puts on SoFi, Nvidia, Robinhood, because all those stocks absolutely took off. So then I started to sell on new stocks like HIMS and Lemonade and Oscar, and I have videos on it, and Snap. Well, HIMS is starting to take off. I'm no longer going to be selling on HIMS. So you got to pick stocks that you're comfortable with and know in and out. The next rule of thumb, why am I no longer going to be selling on HIMS? Why am I no longer going to be selling on SoFi? Why don't I sell on Hood And why do I get new stocks in rotation? It's quite simple. When I sell cash secured puts, I try to get a strike price where even if I had to buy the shares, even if I had to get assigned and buy the shares, I am comfortable that the price is going to go back above the strike price that I had to buy the shares for. So for example, I have a video on SoFi, click on the link up above, where I'm managing a $655,000 position. I was comfortable with a $14 strike. Even when SoFi went down to $10 and $12, I was able to roll it. However, SoFi right now is at $22. I am not going to be selling cash secured puts at a $20 strike or $19 strike because I am not sure if SoFi will ever get back to it if it has a massive drop. I was 100% sure in my mind that SoFi was going to get back to $14. HIMS, I got $34 strike or $35 strike HIMS plays where I made a video on that on this channel. HIMS right now is trading at 50-something dollars. I am not going to be selling cash secured put on HIMS, but if HIMS goes back down to the low $50 mark or high $40 mark, sure, I will start selling cash secured puts again. Snap, I have an $8 strike Snap video on this channel. Some people are like, Adam, why did you pick that? Because I went through technicals and explained why. But Snap right now is trading at $9.80 or so. I would not be selling cash secured puts at a $9 strike or $10 strike. So this is going to go out of my rotation as well. So the key is to pick stocks that you know inside and out, and don't be too greedy. Don't chase, because there's always other opportunities. You don't need to stick with a stock that already ran up like crazy. Another rule of thumb: try to pick stocks that are not on all-time highs. Try to pick stocks that had a run up and then a dip. For example, as you see HIMS, I was not selling cash secured puts on HIMS when it was $66. I was not selling it when it was $65. And I was definitely not selling it when it was $64. However, when HIMS dropped from $64 all the way to $42, as you saw, I started buying shares right around this low. And sure, I'm happy to sell cash secured puts here, but I will not be doing it at $57. But if HIMS can go back down to this high 40s or low 50s, sure, I would definitely sell it. So the key is to find good companies that are viral, that have cult-like following, that are not crap companies, right? It has to be a moderate company. It can't be like complete trash penny stock company. You're looking for these massive drops, and then you take advantage of a cash secured put. Also, right here would be great to do with cash secured put. Hood, for example, I was selling cash secured puts on Hood when there was a drop all the way from here, February, to Liberation Day, when Hood was trading at $60-something. I will not be selling cash secured puts on Hood when Hood is trading at $105. So you need to kind of find stocks that took a dump, and you got to take advantage of it. Oscar, when it was right here at $22, $21, I was not selling cash secured puts. But when Oscar went down to like $14, you sure better believe that I am selling cash secured puts, and I'll probably sell more next month. When you are picking these strikes, try to go, if possible, below the lowest points of the year for a decent company. It cannot be a crap company. Finally, just have fun with this, and at the same time learn. Every movement, every win, every loss is a learning opportunity. My game is not your game. Your game is not my game. Come up with a technique that you can pick strike prices. Come up with a technique of the length of time for your options. Come up with a technique of the percentage that you would like if you had to sell your shares or buy shares. And then pick the right stocks for you, whatever that means. Start with stocks that are in your portfolio that you know front and back. And if they don't meet your criteria, then pick something else. Don't get married to anything. And finally, seize the opportunity. There's like thousands and thousands of stocks. You don't have to focus specifically on the stock, even if it's part of your stable, because there's other stocks that you could pick. Try to do it on good companies. Try to pick a minimum viable price that you believe that the stock is definitely going to come back to if you had to buy it as a cash secured put. For a covered call, it's a lot simpler. Just keep going as high as possible on the strikes. Very, very low delta. so that the shares don't get away from you. And even if the share price hits your strike price, it's going to be an easy role for you to manage. I believe everything that I said in today's video is a really good starting point to get into selling options. Guys, selling options is not going to make you rich. Selling options is for cash flow. Selling options is to supplement your 9-to-5 income. Selling options is to fund your retirement. Selling options, if you don't need cash flow, isn't a great way, selling covered calls, to generate additional income, additional revenue to then go buy other stocks. It's literally a free shopping spree. Be very wary and cautious of IOU, collateral, and margin. Don't be scared of it. Just be cautious and wary and be diligent. But also be cautious, wary, and diligent when picking strike prices and picking stocks itself. You're not going to be scared to cross the street because you're going to get hit by a car. You're not going to be scared to take a plane ride because of an accident, God forbid. At the end of the day, you cannot be scared if you want to play this game. And if you are, that's fine. It's just not the game for you. But what is for you is to click on these videos right here. Have fun watching it. I'll see you guys later tonight. 8 o'clock for the channel, 9 o'clock for channel members. If you want to be a channel member, the link is down below.